two teams this year that have done that but not been able to be good defensively are you and Sacramento. So just from your standpoint, what are the next steps? You've done this cornerstone item. Now, what are the next steps you have to do to become a better defensive team?
Yeah, I mean, we've got to guard the ball way better at the point of attack. Um, because when you get beat cleanly at the point of attack, you have to sell out to protect the rim, and then the weak side rotation is really hard. And so you're kind of having to overcommit to take away the rim. And if teams do a good job, which, a lot of teams are really, really well trained in terms of making rim reads and kicking the ball to the weak side, and you've had to give up too much to take away the rim. In a lot of those situations, it makes it hard to rotate on the weak side. So ultimately, we've got to guard the ball way better in the beginning of the possession. I think it's a positive when you see your team willing to help each other, but we've got to get to a point where we need less help or need help fewer times throughout the course of a game. Um, I think the understanding from the team in terms of what shots we're trying to take away is there, but right now we're just not doing. This year in general, I would say we're not doing a good enough job at the point of attack. That's one-on-one defense. That's closeouts. In pick and roll, we haven't navigated screens great this year. I don't think. We've had individuals make some progress, which I think is a good sign, but we've got to get a lot better.
Okay, well, the hot chili peppers are calm down. Yeah. Coach Hardy, what's been some of the challenging things for this season? I know of course you had a healthy slate at the beginning of the season, and injuries just start spiraling down. Has it been you know challenging as far as development, challenging as what players are going to be available? How do you see this whole season?
Yeah, it's definitely had its tough moments. Injuries is a part of pro sports. It's a part of the NBA, and there are some guys who we would have liked to have seen a lot more of this year that we haven't gotten to, and that's nobody's fault. That's just the way it goes sometimes. But I think for us, I'm actually really pleased with how our team has conducted themselves through some tough moments, and I think all of our young players have displayed high care factor, really high level of character in terms of how they interact with each other and how they compete every night. They're committed to getting better. I think we have seen a lot of our young players improve individually. I think they've also improved in terms of their understanding of each other and how they can play together and how they can help each other on the floor. No one's complained about their situation. And, I've said to our team a bunch this year, complaining is not a strategy. And there's no reason for us to sit here and point out all the reasons why things may not have gone our way. That's a waste of time. And it's our responsibility every day to represent ourselves and our organization to the best of our ability. Um, I do think that you get remembered for how you handle things when it's not going your way. And I want our players to understand that they're always representing themselves first, and then they're representing each other and our team when they take the floor, when they speak to you guys, when they're out in the community. Um, it's something that we're always going to pride ourselves on because winning in the NBA is hard enough. A lot of things have to go right to ultimately get where you want to go.
So, finish.
No, go ahead, man.
Yeah, so basically, the locker room is tight. The
Yeah.
cohesiveness is there. You see that amongst the players and stuff. That's what pretty much, gives you guys through the season. That's what you're saying, correct?
Yeah, we've got a great group of guys, and if you ask them, they'd say the same thing. There has not been one moment with our team this year where I've felt the group fracturing. We're just as messed up as any family. We argue and we have our moments where we don't necessarily like what somebody says or like what somebody did, but the guys have stuck together all year, and I'm really proud of that.
Will, I just wanted to know a little bit more about you and DeMar DeRozan's relationship. You guys have briefly crossed paths in San Antonio.
Yeah, DeMar's an all-time favorite. I was an assistant in San Antonio when he was traded to us from Toronto. There's very few players in the NBA that if you ask anybody, teammates, coaches, media members, anybody that's crossed paths with them, that you're going to get a unanimous, he's awesome, and DeMar is one of those guys. Unbelievably kind, carries himself with a ton of class, plays every night, is a good teammate, he's coachable, doesn't complain. It was a lot of fun to coach him. I learned a lot from him. One of the best scorers of this era in the NBA. Obviously elite in the mid-range, unbelievable fundamentals, footwork. He's a lot stronger than he gets credit for. He was a joy to be around every day. The consistency of how he carries himself makes it really easy to be around him.
Well, he led the way on the mental health stuff, and then Kevin really followed, or the two of them together have been, they're both here tonight. How important do you think that is, and how much do you think it's impacting this next generation of players that those two are willing to head out there?
I mean, it's very important to be talked about because it's very real. And I think that those two guys in particular, especially in our league, have really given everybody else the ability to be honest. And it's interesting now because when you talk to our young players and you start bringing up things like mental health, mental performance, all these things, they're not afraid of those conversations at all. And 15 years ago, that wasn't the case. So more than anything, those two guys being willing to share about themselves and be really vulnerable publicly has given players, coaches, really anybody that's in this league and is in front of a camera or a microphone the ability to be honest about moments that they've struggled, and that it's not always how it appears. Those two guys deserve a lot of credit for that.
Good.
Thanks.
Thank you.